Hello, Dante here, but I guess you probably already know me. Well, sort of. So the thing is, National Voter Registration Day is today. Woo! So welcome to the 2020 Project's ZUKO Tuesday, Tales of Voting. And I am Dante Basco, aka Zuko from Avatar Last Airbender, and Rufio, the leader of the Lost Boys from Hook. And I'll be your host for this evening, where our main goal is to register as many people as possible. And please leave any messages or comments for me on Facebook or on the YouTube feed, and I'll respond to some of them throughout the night. But remember to be respectful to all the guests and your fellow viewers and to the event itself, and keep the hate speech out. Keep it out of here, you guys. This is a nonpartisan event, so definitely vote for your favorite candidate when it's time to vote, but we're keeping that out of the discussion tonight. For a segment of our event called Agni Call, I'm going to be having an Agni call with you guys, and we are looking for one volunteer from the audience who is not registered to vote yet and is willing to come and talk live to me. So let us know in the comments now if you are registered to vote and want to talk to me about it. And then later on in the program, I'll call 2 unregistered voters and see if I can walk them through this civic engagement journey, and see if I can convince you guys and then walk you through this whole process. And we have a great program tonight, including a special interview with the Honorable Senator Tammy Duckworth, a performance by the rapper Ruby Ibarra, and a discussion about music and politics with some great musicians, and a politics and avatar-themed trivia contest for everyone to participate in. And for the winner of that, I will record a message, any character you like, a video message for you guys. So please join us in the trivia contest. And I'll be hosted by me and Osric Charles. So join us for that later on. And this event is all about voting. So this event is all about voting. So the first thing that everyone should do is check their registration status. You can do this by going to the 2020 Project website, www.vote-2020-project.org. You can register on the site if you haven't. You can pledge to vote if you are already registered and get voting by mail info. So let your friends and family know too, and use hashtag ZUKO Tuesday, hashtag MVRD, and hashtag 2020 Project. And we also want to thank our media sponsors, ASAM News, and our many community partners and sponsors who are part of this event. Without their support, the 2020 Project wouldn't be able to do the work to register voters and put on an event like this for you guys. And there's too many of them out there for me to list right now, but please go to our website, www.vote-2020-project.org, and click on the partners page and show them some love. We'll also list our partners at the end of the event. And so before we go on, I have a special guest that is about to join us. Everybody, virtually give it up one time for a friend of mine and an amazing creative from Wang Food Productions. Give it up one time for Philip Wang.
What's up?
Yo, Phil, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good to see you, Dante. I like the hair.
I like the hair on you. I'm about to say mine got shorter and yours got longer.
Mine got a little longer. It was even longer before. It was like down like past my neck. It was pretty gross.
COVID. So COVID's been treating you well. You've been getting that soccer look going, like the hair long. You tie it up in a man bun.
Yeah, I was there for a little bit, and then the fiance was like, "All right, I need to get a haircut, and I got to keep her happy." So
yeah. Happy wife, happy life.
Yes, I'm glad you're doing this, man. It's good to see you.
Thank you, man. I'm excited. It's a very important year of elections in our country, and I just think it's all of our civic duty to kind of go out and be a part of this. What's your history with voting, and what's your perspective on all of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I might have been a little late to the voting scene. I think even though when I turned 18, I don't think it was like one of the things that I went out and did right away. And I think part of that is actually, as an Asian American, politics just aren't a really big part of growing up. I think our parents, our immigrant parents, they all came to America for a variety of reasons. And I think part of it is, them not wanting to be involved in government, or them wanting to, keep away their opinions of government. And then when they came to America, they're like, oh, America's the promised land. This is great. So of course, I have no problems with whatever's going on here. Like, I'm just glad to be here, right? So we're taught as a culture to just be quiet and to just take what we are given, and also that we probably we can't change anything, right? That's what our parents experienced, and that's probably what they taught us. But we were born here, and obviously we feel we are American, and we have a different experience with America, and we have different privileges being American as well. So it's important for us to learn about voting and politics early on, because it actually really does affect us. I think when I was younger, I thought, oh, it's so big, it's so far, I can't do anything. But I think, especially, with everything happening with COVID and these last 4 years, I know that this is a nonpartisan event, but I'm speaking for myself. It really shows you what can happen with different leaders, right? So however you're feeling about the way things have been, you got to go out and vote. And, just, I don't know how many people are from the Asian American community, but that are watching, but AAPI youth is the least likely to register and vote. In 2016, only 49% of us, only 49% of us showed up to vote. And I know I know earlier I said it's like our parents, but at this point it's on us, so we have 11 million eligible voters. We're the fastest growing demographic of eligible voters. So we need to be heard. And just last week, there was a resolution in the House that was basically a super simple resolution that was essentially saying, hey, can we just have all the Congress people in government leadership positions all agree not to spew misinformation, not to be show racism, anti-Asian American racism. And it passed, thankfully, but 164 votes were no. Okay.
Wow. And these are people we elected.
Yeah, some of them, and just I have to say, all 164 no's were Republican, and there's a reason why I think that they think that they can vote very publicly, saying, "Hey, I'm cool with Asian American racism." They don't feel like there's any repercussions. They don't feel that as a group we will be upset, or that we will be, that there will be any backlash. And so we have to show that, hey, we are a group that can actually sway things, and until they don't take us seriously. And at this point, it's just about hey, we're both in Hollywood. We want to be seen on the screens, but also we want to be seen in our policies, in our politics, because we're being erased. People think that we're too small to matter, but we have a lot of power. And I think it's time of all the elections. It's time for us to flex that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you and I, we've been in many rooms talking about and inspiring the next generation to share our stories in filmmaking and film, television, and content creation, which is great. But now's the time that, this is our story collectively as Americans, and this is part of our story, and to share our story and to progress our stories, to be a part of this process.
Yeah.
And that's a unique thing for us a right that we get to have in America. And I think it's very important for us to go out there and vote.
Yeah, there's fights for progress in every industry. We're trying to do it in our own way in entertainment, but it also needs to happen in other places too. In politics, encompasses a lot of it. So if you're on the fence, or if you have family that doesn't really care or whatever, let them know what's going on. Go send them to my Twitter right now. I have all the information about the 164 Republicans that didn't vote to protect Asian Americans. Literally, it's that literal. It's not like a blanket resolution. It's specifically anti-Asian, and they voted no. So yeah, vote early too. I'm sure many more people will talk about it, but yeah.
Have those awkward conversations with your parents. I know sometimes it's hard for us, especially the younger generation, to have the awkward conversation with our parents and be a part of this process, man. Phil, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to see you. I can't wait to hang out with you in person when we're done with this COVID. I'll come by your shop in SGV and we'll have a boba tea.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks, brother. So that was Philip Wang from Wang Food Productions. Thank you so much again for joining us. And now, I mean, I can't help but wonder, this is ZUKO Tuesday, so the Avatar fam is always around as a part of this whole project, and so I can't wait to see what and wonder what Team Avatar would tell me as guidance as to help register to vote. First and foremost, I got my uncle Iro, who is my longest standing mentor. Let's see what wisdom he has to impart.
The election this year is the most important in our lifetime. It is time for you to look inward and start asking yourself the big question: who are you? And what do you want? What kind of society do you want to live in for your loved ones to live in?
Well, thank you, Uncle Iro. Uncle Iro, those things sound very familiar to a young Zuko on the path of trying to find out what was right for him. Thank you, Uncle Iro. So what about the greatest earthbender who ever lived, the inventor of metal bending, my tough friend Toph? Well, Toph, where you at? You sound mad.
Earth vote, Twinkle Toes. You're standing your ground against a pandemic. To be even more impressive, stand your ground at the polls.
There you go. I gotta love Toph. She's so small yet so mighty, and very short and quick with that. I love you. Thank you so much, Toph. Let's see now. What about my buddy Sokka? I can always turn to Sokka for a good laugh and fast thinking. What do you have for us, Sokka?
Please promise me you'll vote this November. If you vote, I promise I will give up meat and sarcasm. Okay? That's all I got. That's pretty much my whole identity. Sokka, the meat and sarcasm guy. But I'm willing to be Sokka, the veggies and straight talk fellow. Deal?
Oh my God. Thank you, Sokka. Thank all Team Avatar for all your advice. And thank you to all my friends, the actors, the voice actors, Greg Baldwin, Michaela Murphy, and Jack DeSena for sending in those lines. That's so beautiful. Now, so throughout the evening, we'll be featuring some videos from some of our friends about the importance of voting. Check out our first from Hamilton and Broken Hearts Galleries, Philippa Sue. Philippa Sue.
Hello, I'm Philippa Sue. Thank you to the 2020 Project for asking me to make this video. I'm so excited to talk to you about why I'm proud to be a voter. Voting is key to maintaining a democracy. People have fought, died, and survived to make sure that all Americans have the right to vote. Why is it important for us specifically as Asian Americans to empower our voices this November? Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders traditionally have lower voter turnout despite being the fastest growing demographic in the United States. There's strength in our vote, and our vote can make a difference. Visit vote-2020-project.org to register to vote, check your voter registration, and pledge to vote. Election Day is November 3rd. Make sure you stay in line and pack water and a meal if you need. Also, wear a mask. Let's do this, my fellow Asian Americans. Join me and be a proud voter.
Well, now, a few days ago, I had an honor of talking with the Honorable Senator Tammy Duckworth from Illinois about the difference the Asian Pacific American vote can make in this election, and a host of other related topics. So thanks to AAPI, Progressive Action, and Bridget Paulson at the Senator's office for helping to coordinate this for us. So check it out.
So our next guest really needs no introduction. The Honorable Senator Tammy Duckworth from Illinois. She's also an Iraq war vet, a Purple Heart recipient, and a former Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, who was among the first handful of Army women to fly combat missions during the Operation Iraqi Freedom. She retired from the military at the rank of Lieutenant Colonel in 2014 and served 2 terms representing Illinois' 8th Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives before being elected to the U.S. Senate in 2016. In 2004, Duckworth was deployed to Iraq as a Black Hawk helicopter pilot from Illinois Army National Guard, where her helicopter was hit by an RPG, and she lost her legs and partial use of her right arm. She has been leading an advocacy for fellow soldiers and veterans since then. We are so excited to have Senator Duckworth join us for this conversation for the 2020 project. Senator, how are you doing?
It's good to be on with you, Dante. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. You know, we're all kind of living these interesting lives during the pandemic. It's kind of hit everybody, every single person. And I'm sure it's hitting even, you know, high up as the Senate.
It is. You know, I'm a mom, so I have young kids. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I'm going through the same struggles all the other families are going through with my daughter, who is just starting kindergarten through education. So
well, good luck on the school year.
Challenge. Yeah, that's my biggest challenge right now. It's not the U.S. Senate. It's actually trying to do distance education with a 5.5-year-old.
I hear from my nieces and nephews and every family and all parents across America right now about how they're going to get through the school year. But thank you for joining us for the 2020 project. This project is all about inspiring voters, especially young voters, first-time voters, and also especially the API voters to be a part of this process. Do you remember your first time voting, or like the importance of us being a part of this process of democracy?
Yeah, I mean, I was very excited. I voted as soon as I could, but I will tell you that the most memorable time I voted, I didn't actually go to the polls. It was a mail-in ballot because I was in Iraq in 2004. And I remember watching from a combat zone all of the debates and everything that was going on. And people were talking about the troops who were in harm's way, you know, and not sort of, and I was living it at the time. And I could tell that, you know, a lot of American people weren't quite understanding what we were going through. And then I cast my vote in 2004, and in about a week after I cast my vote, I was actually shot down. So my most memorable time voting was actually mailing in a ballot from overseas. I was so proud to be able to do that.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Yeah, you don't think about soldiers having to vote, especially while in war, in a wartime situation. That really blows my mind. And for people that, you know, a lot of times, even when I was a younger voter, and I'm in California, it's like my vote doesn't really count. It doesn't really matter. Like that mindset. What do you have to say to the voters that feel that way, especially the young voters?
Well, we know that is not true. I mean, I'll give you an example. In Virginia, a couple of cycles ago, we actually had a tie, and had just one person gone to the poll who said my vote doesn't count. That representative would have won. And they ended up deciding that with a coin toss. And so
really,
yes. So your vote does matter. We've had elections that were lost by as few as a single vote per precinct. So a precinct is the area around where you live. And you think, oh, my vote doesn't count, but we've had elections that came down to 40 votes. Al Gore, George W. Bush, that was just a few hundred votes in the entire state of Florida. I mean, that was less than a vote per precinct. So your vote very much matters. And even if you don't vote, that decision to choose not to vote in itself is an act of voting, because you are at that point voting for the status quo.
That is very true. So even when you don't vote, you're actually voting for the status quo. That's very true. Now, being Asian American like myself, we are, you know, as far as America goes, we're kind of at the highest point, just as people know about us and who we are as a community, within the arts, within the films, Crazy Rich Asian, TV shows. It's kind of like the highest we've been in the history of America and the history of pop culture. And so what does our vote as a community now mean in this upcoming election?
Well, this upcoming election is going to be very close in many places. And a lot of the battleground states, Arizona, Nevada, Iowa, Missouri, you know, all of these states, the vote is going to be maybe 2-3%. And in most of those states, Asian Americans are 5% of the population. And so we are the margin of victory for a candidate. In my House seat, when I ran in the House, and even in Illinois, Asian Americans are 4% of the population in Illinois. That 4% is critical. It's vital. Elections are won or lost on less than 4%. And so we have to think of ourselves as not as, well, we're just 5%, nobody cares about our vote anyway, but more along the lines of, wow, we are really powerful because we could be the margin of victory in an election. And we have to get that message out to Asian Americans that, and to candidates too, of the importance of the Asian American vote in our country.
Yes, and yeah, as Asians, I look at the statistics. It's like historically we don't vote as much as other communities, whether it be Caucasian, African American, Latinos. Like we're like almost the lowest group that people that go out and vote. I'm trying to figure out why that is, and like what we can do more to kind of press the younger generation and the older generation that our vote does matter, or that we are a part of this process in America. Sometimes I feel we have different countries that our families come from, and so we don't know where we fit as Asians in America. Are we Asian? Are we American? But we are definitely American, and we're definitely a part of this story. And part of me being a part of this is saying, this is our story. We're a part of the American story. Be involved. Do you think there's the thing with Asians not voting as much as other cultures in America?
Yeah, I think it's several things. I think it's definitely that our community is fragmented and we don't all watch the same TV channels, for example, right? At least in the Latinx community, you've got Telemundo, you've got some key 1 or 2 or 3 key networks that the people watch and where they absorb their media and their information. Whereas in the Asian American community, you have everything from Korean American Voice to Desi channels to Thai Americans to Vietnamese. So there are very many flavors of Asian, and
right,
so
exactly.
It's hard to reach out in a single place to talk to all of those Asians, and we don't identify with each other because we identify with our subgroups.
Right.
And so that's one aspect of it. Another aspect of it too is there's a whole chicken and egg issue here, where Asian Americans communities tend to be immigrant communities to begin with. And those communities are less worried about voting and more worried about establishing themselves, getting a job, getting their kids through school, getting their kids through college, getting their kids to a good job. And that's not in politics, get a job as a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, all of those things, or as an actor, right? Right. You don't want your kids to go into the arts, right? You want your kids to go into like a solid job because your first, second.
Doctors, nurses, and accounting. Yes.
Right, yeah, go ahead and you can go ahead and do that, but go ahead and get that RN license, And what happens is the community itself is not as politically engaged because it's focused on something else. And so the politicians, on the other hand, don't engage in the community because they know what Asians don't vote. So we're not going to spend our precious time and dollars that we have in an election cycle trying to turn out a group of people who have historically not voted. So it becomes this whole vicious cycle. And I've had this conversation many times with presidential campaigns with the like. I mean, under the Obama administration, Asian Americans turn out, those who did vote, voted for President Obama at 85%. It was the largest single percentage of any ethnic group that voted for the president and for President Obama. But the Obama administration still took Asians for granted and didn't spend as much money reaching out to Asians that they could have. So it's, and I'm having these conversations now with the Biden campaign saying, hey, you have to have more Asian representation. You have to do it more systematically. And it's harder. It's harder than just going on 2 or 3 Spanish speaking TV stations because it's a wide variety of ways that Asian Americans consume news and wide variety of ways that we can interact with them. But when we do, we reap the benefits of it as a nation because Asian Americans really have the pulse on what is happening in the country and how people are struggling. You talk, and so it's really important to do. And we're trying very hard in Congress through the Aspire PAC, Asian American and Pacific Islander PAC, to try to get more focus on the role of Asian Americans. And maybe with Kamala as vice president, that'll be helpful.
We can hope so. And I'm so impressed talking to you right now because I don't talk to senators that often or ever. And one who's Asian, it's really, there's not many Asians in politics as a whole or the Senate in specific. what inspired you? I'm sitting here talking to you. You're very, just likable, just a person talking to me, and you're this powerful senator. And we don't see ourselves in those seats. I think of not a person that looks like me in the Senate, in politics. What inspired you? How did you get here? This is pretty amazing.
Yeah, so I never wanted to be in politics. I wanted to be in the State Department. Ever since I was 8 years old, living in Thailand and Indonesia, I wanted to become an ambassador one day. So I wanted to become a foreign service officer, and that's what I was studying for when I decided to join the military as a part-timer, as a National Guards person. So I did, the 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. After I was wounded and I was recovering at Walter Reed, Senator Dick Durbin, the senior senator from Illinois, he's still our senior senator, I met him at the hospital, and he made the mistake of giving me his personal cell phone number and said, if any of our wounded warriors are having problems, you call me. So I started calling him because I happened to be the highest ranking amputee at the hospital for about 6-7 months. So I just started calling him and saying, hey, I got this guy, he hasn't been paid, he should be paid. I have another person, and I got another soldier, his wife wants to come visit him, but the Army won't pay for the plane ticket and they can't afford to come. And so Dick became kind of the unofficial ombudsman for our military men and women at Walter Reed. And after about 10 months of this, he called me up and said, well, Tammy, Barack, at the time, our junior senator from Illinois was Barack Obama, said, Barack and I think you should run for Congress. And I just looked at him like, you're crazy, right? But this senator looked at me, and he saw beyond woman, he saw beyond the wheelchair, he saw beyond what I was going through physically, he saw beyond my race, and he saw potential, and he saw someone who was basically aching for a new mission, because I knew I couldn't fly helicopters again. And he gave me one, he challenged me. And that's how, but I said yes. That's the problem that we have a lot too within the Asian American community, and especially among women as well, is that we tend to not think of ourselves, as you were saying, in these positions of power. We can picture ourselves in maybe, in corporations, but we can't, or in medicine, but we can't picture ourselves in those C-suites. We can't picture ourselves in the halls of power because there's not that much representation. And so not only do we not initiate it, oftentimes when they are asked, Asian Americans say no. Whenever we're saying, hey, would you consider running? No, no one will ever vote for me. And women in particular have to be asked 7 times before they finally say yes to running for office, whether that's a school board or, a library board or Congress. And so we have to stop self-selecting ourselves out of the halls of power, because we have to put ourselves out there to run. And when we do, we're very successful. I mean, we have had some great representation in Congress from Asian Americans. Norm Mineta, Mike Honda, of course, from Hawaii. It's a little bit different because Asians are a majority there, but the great Daniel Inouye, Senator Ataka, all of those great folks. But yes, I am one of only 2 Asian women, actually not 3 with Kamala. So there's Kamala, myself, and Rosie.
Very cool. Yes, you're definitely an inspiration. It is true. Like it's taking time for us to see ourselves as a community doing other things outside the stereotypical things. And you're definitely an inspiration for everybody. So this year voting, what do you have to tell the next generation, the Asian American community? Get them to get out? It's such an important election. What is your last words of inspiration for everybody?
Well, 2 things. It's voting and the census. Let me start off with the census, and then I'll tell you about the voting. For every person that is not counted in the census, your local community will miss out on anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 in federal benefits per person. So if you don't get yourself counted, and you don't get your grandma counted, and you don't get your baby sister counted, and your cousin and all that, that is $1,000 to $2,000 less that will go into your community. That is that much less money that will go into your public schools. That is that much money that will go into your healthcare system, all of that. So get online, get yourself counted in the census, and help those members of your family who may not be as computer literate, get them all counted in the census. And that is important. And if you're not counted in the census, it also affects whether or not you get to have a member of Congress. Because the member of Congress, you get 1 congressman for every 730,000 residents. So if you are not counted and your particular area drops below 730,000, then you lose a congressional seat and you lose that person who could represent you and fight for you in Washington. So you must get counted, and you don't have to be a citizen to be counted. You just need to get your nose counted. And that actually affects the money that comes into your school districts. It affects the money that comes into all of the healthcare in your district. It also affects your voice in Washington. Now that we talk about the census, voting is critical. Voting is critical. If you care about your grandma and your grandfather's Social Security, that there's going to be Medicare for them, that they're going to have health care. If you care about public education, Democrats, I support universal pre-K, universal kindergarten, so that all of our kids should be able to have access to school. Because how well you do in kindergarten affects how well you do in the 4th grade, which then actually affects whether or not you graduate high school and go to college. So all these things affect you and your life. And if you don't vote, then you're voting for the way that things are right now. And if you like the way things are right now, then you're shortchanging yourself, because we could do a lot better as a country. We could have cheap, affordable health care for everyone. We could have debt-free college, where you can go to college and work your way through and have grants and all of that, but still manage to graduate without debt. There's all sorts of things we could be doing right now. But your vote will help us decide whether or not we're going to do them.
Amazing, Senator. Talking to you is such an inspiration. I'm so thankful to be able to just hang out with you and talk to you about all these things, because I think, like a lot of people out there, government and the process and politics is somewhat confusing. Of course, we're bombarded with it now because it's an election year, but things like the census, things like voting and what it actually is doing is not something we're very clear always on how it happens, how it really affects us. Is it really going to affect us at all? And I think your words are definitely kind of make you think and understand that we are part of this story of America that's ever changing more than we think we are.
Right.
So thank you so much.
You're welcome. It really does make a difference. If you care about whether or not there is arts education in high school, those are programs that are being cut right now because we're choosing to fund other things than schools and public schools. So if you want more art classes and you want more music classes and you want, whatever you want, that affect, your choice to vote or not vote affects those decisions.
Well, thank you, Senator. Have a great day. Thank you so much for being a part of the 2020 project. And everybody out there, let's go vote.
And get your nose counted for the census.
And get your nose counted for the census.
Thank you, everyone.
Wow. Thank you again, Senator Duckworth. I was so geeked out to talk to Senator Duckworth. She was so amazing. I loved watching the playback of that video right now. It was such an honor of mine to talk to her and to get to have that conversation. And we see all you guys out there, Adeline Blooms, Don Nguyen, Melinda Dang, Anika Fagoa, Chrissy Cootie. Thank you guys. Keep leaving messages. Keep talking to us in the chat. Anna Elsie, thank you guys for watching. And now here are some short messages from Redline's Vinny Chahiber and Good Trouble star and comedian Sherry Cola.
Hi, I'm Sherry Cola, and I'm here to remind you to please vote this November as if your life depended on it, and it truly kind of does. I know times are dark right now, but let's not give up and push through now more than ever after losing our freaking hero, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We have to continue her legacy and fight for social justice and change, especially within our Asian community. We want to be counted and we want to be heard. And the only way to do that is to register to vote and hit the polls, get that mail-in ballot, hand deliver it yourself, whatever you need to do to help make a difference. So spread the word, vote, and let's go.
So,
hey everyone, just wanted to take a moment here to encourage you to vote. Healthcare, the environment, our civil liberties are all on the ballot this November, and voting is the easiest, most effective way to ensure that your voice is heard. So, please, 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 vote. For more information, please go to vote-2020-project.org.
Thank you again to Sherry Cola and Vinny Chihibber. I thought Vinny was about to go into a song right there for a second. I was about to rock with him. And of course, thank you to the Honorable Senator Duckworth for all your videos. And thank you so much. So now we're moving on to the next segment, which I'm very excited about and I'm kind of nervous about. This is the Agni Call. So now this is the Agni Call. It's a century-old duel where one party tries to convince another party to vote. The winner retains their honor. I challenge one audience member who is not registered to vote to this duel. So comment and let us know if you will rise up to face me. I'll be talking to one of our unregistered voters tonight. And I'm just gonna let you guys know I'm not really great at conversations like this. If you ask anybody that I know, my friends and family, I'm not a very confrontational person. So we even enlisted the help of a friend that is also works at the 2020 Project, Chris. And Chris is gonna come in and she's gonna share a few tips with me to what I can talk to people about voting. So Chris, you're in the house. Where you at? Yo.
Hi. Hello. Hi, Dante. We're so excited to have you.
Well, welcome to the program. Welcome to the program, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you. So as you said, Agni Kai is supposed to be a challenge, and so is
Agni Call. Call.
Well, Agni Kais and Agni Calls are both challenges, in my opinion.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. So I think with that in mind, I know that talking to folks about politics is honestly, I do it and I'm intimidated honestly all the time. So with that in mind, I kind of wanted.
I'd rather do anything else in the world than talk to people about politics.
It's honestly scary. I feel like a lot of the times you want to I feel like someone wants to catch on the latest gossip or something else. They just want to tell you about their day, and you're like, speaking of things that are important to your day, what about voting? And then they just radio silence.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're in a really big time where there's a lot of, the cancel culture, there's a lot of clapback, and it's very uncomfortable online and in person and direct communication with people. So what are we supposed to do? How do we go about this?
Yeah, I think the major thing, and so at 2020 Project, we also have a bunch of really great regional ambassadors who are doing this kind of day-to-day outreach with their friends and family, right? So that's kind of the toolkit that I'm going to give you is people have tried this out. They're these are the main questions that my family has responded to me with, or my friends have said. So for anyone who's watching, who's I believe voting is important. I'm already here. I'm ready to talk. I hope this is also useful for not only Dante, but also for you. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. And
we have a PowerPoint presentation. Let's go. I need the visuals.
I came prepared. So with that in mind, can everyone see this?
Yes, I think we're live with the slides.
Okay, let me just expand that a little bit more so that we can all see it a little bit better. So the main thing that I kind of want to talk about is I want to say at the end of the day, this is really just checking in with people. So this is just something super brief to go in. When we talk about community, there's different circles that you're in a part of. So you're going to message things differently. You're going to talk with your friends differently than you talk to family or your community groups, what have you, for everyone here who's ready to go. Kind of the vibe that we're looking for, Dante, is this is kind of our own setup, but you want to move people down these stages, right? You want to first talk about, oh, hey, someone might say my vote wouldn't matter anyway because I live in this state. To someone who's considering going, oh, I might consider it, and then maybe from that stage, if they're there already, someone might go, I definitely want to vote. How do I do it? And then if they're at that stage, you want to move them down to I registered to vote. I'm ready. And then obviously, if someone's at that stage and you're talking to them, you want to encourage them to keep voting, to not only vote in this election, to be engaged in future elections and learn more. So that makes sense. It's kind of
it does make sense. So we're in pre-contemplation. We don't know if our votes matter or we don't know anything, and we get them into contemplating the idea of voting. Right.
Yeah.
Tired of these past 4 years. I might want to vote. I like these past 4 years. I'm tired of these past 4 years. Okay, and then get ready to vote. Right. Preparation, and then if they take an action, I just registered to vote. They're in action, and then kind of keep the conversation going. To continue to be part of the process. I get it. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a ladder. You meet people where they're at and you help them take the next step. So
So
definitely.
we're all gonna be Aladdin for a hot second. We're gonna be the genie, and we're gonna be in there, and we're gonna help them take the next situation. All right.
I said ladder, but I like the crossover.
Oh, a
that you built.
ladder. I thought you said Aladdin. I was like, maybe I'm gonna be Aladdin. I'll be the genie.
Maybe like, I don't know, vote, make your wishes come true. Who knows?
Exactly.
I like the crossover vibes we're going for here. So with that in mind, obviously no one's the same. So I'm not going to say like, oh, these are the only types of conversations you'll have. But just based off, thank you to all of the ambassadors and people doing like that local work of talking to friends and family, because we got to compile some of like the most common conversation barriers when you talk about voting and they tune out. These are kind of the most common ones you've seen. So if you run into them in the future, Dante, I hope you feel a little bit more prepared.
I hope give me something for the love of everything. I'll be like, what y'all think about voting? I don't like it. I'm like, all right, later. Have a good day.
You're like, all right, okay, that's cool. We're on. So these are kind of the prep questions for everyone in the audience. Try and like think of the ones that you've had in your head when you try and talk to people. And we're going to dive into them.
Okay.
Okay. Oop, this is a little bit of a large slide. I'm sorry. I'll summarize it for you, Dante.
I'm reading. I'm reading along. Go ahead.
Oh, you're ready. Okay. So these are some of the main ones, right? What if I don't want to choose a party? Do I have to choose a party? The main thing I think like that works for everyone is like you don't actually have to choose a party when you're registering for the general election. So the general elections is the one on November 3rd, 2020 this year. And for folks who say, I don't care about voting, just like, don't shame them. Sometimes people might not care because they don't know if they trust the system. And for a lot of communities, including, like the AAPI one, that's something that you have to talk them through. You can't just like dismiss it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you want to if they don't care about voting, I think Dante, like what we've done is, well, if you don't care about it, like what do you care about, right?
What do you care about? Okay.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Like, is it like getting funding for like your school? Is it, making sure if you're if you're a college student, like, can you get out of that student debt? So talk to them about those issues rather than just being like, boo, you don't care about voting? That sucks.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, it's not just you. Like when you vote, it's not about just yourself, but it's also about other people in your community. So those are our sub-bullet points are kind of like the recommended responses, but you can do your own thing.
And it's true, like what Senator Duckworth says, like if you don't vote, you're actually voting for the status quo, which is interesting.
Yeah. Also, again, I feel like Senator Duckworth also said a really good point right there. So we're all just giving each other talking points to figure out how to respond.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Some other ones. This is our last like review slide. I know that Phil like just mentioned, Asians aren't really political or politically active. So if you're talking to someone who's Asian, you can just say like, that's like honestly like a stereotype. And I think we're all about, like what we try and work for in like the Asian American community is just making sure that like we have so much expanse in terms of like, we can be like, we're allowed to be political. You don't want to limit us to a stereotype. Right. So I think like Phil already explained it really well there. If someone says this is one of my favorites. I don't know how to explain these roles, terms to parents or family members who aren't as fluent in English. That one this is actually something that I've used. And if you're familiar with Kim's Convenience, we call it a sneak attack, where you kind of go like, oh, hey, what is like government funding in Vietnamese or something? And then that kind of opens a conversation like, oh, like this is how you say it. Why do you ask that? So for family members or folks who are not as fluent in English, that's also a good strategy we've been using. Yeah. And
that's great. I don't speak any other languages, but if you do speak other languages, that's a great one. If they come out with another language, I'm in trouble.
No, I hear you. I'm not the greatest Vietnamese speaker, which is why I kind of like use that as a sneak attack where I like ask them how to say it. And I'm like, well, the reason why I was asking was because of this.
Oh, I like that. Just a little icebreaker.
Yeah, a little knowledge sharing, So yeah. And then one other one that's super common is just like, I think it's important. I really do. But like, I've been intimidated by the voting process or how to register to vote or whatever. And honestly, I want to say like this one, you can help them find a voting guide that works for them, or you can ask them what presidential candidate speaks to them, and then like kind of be like, oh well, I can help you figure it out. We don't have the answers like we don't have all the answers right now. Like I'm not an expert, you're not an expert, but we can figure it out together. So it's really about just being there like as a friend for them.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are my main vibes. Just the most common ones. If you run into them, hope that's helpful. So
I feel more equipped to have these conversations now. I'm a little nervous to have these conversations, coming up soon, but I feel more equipped to have it. I hope you guys are out there a little more equipped also.
Yeah, I believe in you. My last one, I think actually I can just stop sharing right now and just. So for anyone who wasn't sure about what those slides were, if you wanted to review, you can always reach out to 2020 Project and ask. Dante, I am going to leave you to the sharks a little bit, or the unregistered voters.
Okay.
But I think the main vibe right now is just make sure that folks feel listened to, right? Ask for their side of the story, ask them what they care about, be down to help them through the process, and just be like, I'm here. If you were talking to me, you'd just be like, we can just do this over like catching up and getting a cup of coffee. It's like not a big deal.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And then
yes.
Sorry, I'm like dumping all this info on you. It's really not that much.
I'm processing. I'm processing in my mind. What's an opening line? What's like my opening line? Can I have like an opening line? Like, did you vote? Do you want to vote? How do I approach that? Like,
yeah.
What do you think a good icebreaker is?
You can honestly just ask them like, hey, ZUKO here if you really want. You can
Hello,
like, hi.
ZUKO here. I was just wondering, who do you want to be the next Fire Lord?
Right. That's not an elected position, but I like the energy we're going into this with.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah. So honestly, you can just start off with, hey, I just wanted to voter deadlines are coming up. Have you checked your registration yet? And then
that's good. That's good. I like that.
And then if they go like, oh, I haven't checked it recently, even if they think they're registered, you're like, oh, do you want to check it real quick?
Yes.
They go like, I'm not registered to vote. You'd be like, oh, why is that? And then, so you get them into that. And once they're down to register to vote, then you just want to help them make a plan to vote. So you ask them like, so what's your plan? Like, now that you're like registered, do you think you're going to vote by mail? Do you think you're going to, go to the poll on election day? Are you going to early vote? And then just make sure they feel like they can kind of talk out their process. But at the end of the day, it is really just talking with like friends and seeing how they are.
Sounds good.
Okay. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm ready to try. I'm trying to try this out a little bit. I'm a little nervous still, but I'm ready to try this out.
Okay. Sounds good. I will leave you to our first person that you're going to talk to, and then we can debrief afterward. So.
And the first person I'm talking to is
Tao.
Okay.
So I'm going to hop off, and she is going to hop
and I'm going to start. So Tao, this is my warm up. This is my warm up here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's see how this goes.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, hello.
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing well. I've been having a great day. It's been really a nice day out here in LA. How about you? Been having a good day?
I've been having a pretty good day. I just got done with exams for the week.
Oh, awesome. And it's Tao, right? Tao. So Tao, that the voter registration, we have a big election here on November 3rd, and we're getting close to the voter registration date. Are you registered to vote?
I'm actually not registered to vote.
Oh, are you sure? Maybe we should check, there's places we can go and check your registration. I can't find the word right now, but it's, your status, registration status.
I don't know. I don't really believe in voting because, there's a lot of people that are already voting. So what's the point of me voting?
Well, I totally feel you on that. And I've been there myself. But we are a part of it. What do you care? Like, what matters in your life? Like, what are the things that matter? And maybe I can help you understand like how your voting can affect that.
Well, there are a variety of things that affect me. Maybe, with COVID-19, there's a lot of racism against Asians today.
Right. Totally.
And a variety of issues surrounding all of that itself. So
well, when you vote, the elected officials, they help kind of control and help influence and impact how definitely racist things are happening and how we can move past it and how people are being, treated or being handled if they get caught doing things that are like racist and whatnot. So our vote can help elect the people that can help bring laws and things that can kind of alleviate some of your stress in that way. So I really think you should consider registering the vote and being a part of this process.
I'm just one person though, so what makes my vote matter out of everyone else's?
No, it's very true. I mean, a lot of times we can feel like our vote doesn't matter, but it's been shown in the last few elections that there's so many elections that were so close that every vote mattered. It was like less than 20,000 votes to really sway one candidate or another. And that really goes to show you that our votes do matter. I was just talking to Senator Duckworth recently, and she said one election, one precinct got so close, it was tied at the end, and they actually had to end up deciding through a coin toss. So that really shows you every vote does actually count. So I hope you reconsider and really understand that your vote does matter and we matter. And you should really think about registering. I can help you. I can direct you to like a website, 2020 Vote Project, the 2020 Project. You can check out your status on your voter registration, and we can really quickly get you registered to vote and get you prepared to vote for this November 3rd election.
That seems like a great idea. And, you've made a lot of really good points. And, I would love it if you would help me register to vote because it's my first time and I don't really know what to do.
Let's do it. Let's go to www.2020project.org. Let me make sure that's right. I'm going to Google it. But yes. And then we'll put your name there. We'll see if you're registered and we can register you right on the spot. And there's various other ways. I mean, if you have Instagram, you can register on Instagram. It's right, the banner at the top of your feed. So there's so many ways to get it done, but we're getting close to the deadline, and let's try to get done as soon as possible.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you so much for all the information and your help and your advice. And hopefully I'll be voting this November.
You will. No, hopefully, Tao. You are going to be voting. And yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Thanks, Dante.
Thank you, Tao. Yo, that wasn't so bad. Chris, what's up?
I thought it was pretty solid, honestly. Like,
you've been running some things, you're just trying to think of all the things I've listened and I've heard so far in this program, and I'm trying to have it come to my head. But it is a little nerve-wracking to talk to people, especially about this. But yeah, Tao was awesome.
Yeah, Tao is so I'm gonna expose Tao. Tao is she is like one of our friends, and she is like trying to learn about voting, and she's down to talk about it. But we told her like, go easy on Dante. Let's not try and like.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she was my warm up.
Yeah,
and,
but I thought Sorry, I cut you off. I thought you did great, honestly.
Thank you.
I think the main thing, you were here to listen. You asked her what her thoughts and her opinions were before putting on your own. I think that's like the most important thing when you're trying to get people to feel like they're being listened to, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you took things like not only from what I said, but also from what like Senator Duckworth said, from what Phil from Wang Fu said, and I think like we're drawing knowledge from like multiple sources. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's gonna be questions. What if a question comes up that I can't answer? What do I say?
I think at the end of the day, you gotta just be honest. I think people have asked me like, "What's this like? What about XYZ?" And I'm just like, you know what? I wish I just say like, I wish I knew the answer to that. I can tell it's really important to you. Like again, like the same thing with like, what about like this candidate? I live in Seattle, for instance, and I don't know, like, and someone's asking this information, you can be like, I don't know the answer, but I'm down to find out about it with you, right?
Right.
So
honesty's the best policy.
It really is.
I can dig that.
I really like the vibes that I really like these vibes. So I think we are going to bring on an audience member this time.
Okay. All right, you guys. We're going live with one of you guys out there, and thank you guys for all chatting in to be a part of this. So let's see who I get. Do we know who this person is? Do we have anything?
Their name is JJ from Chicago, Illinois. So they are
JJ
actually
from Chicago, Illinois. Well, I just talked to a senator. I know
exactly.
somebody from the area.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, no, I know Illinois. I just actually talked to your senator.
Exactly.
So,
I'm gonna open with that for sure. Don't tell him. Shh.
Yeah.
I gotta hold that one.
Yeah. So you already have a card to use along with all the
Yes.
other tools we gave you. So pluses, you listened to them, you did great. And then the one thing I would say is just make sure you check in to help them make that plan to do those 3 steps. Like check your registration status, don't forget to register to vote, and then ask them like, so if you are, like, what's your plan to vote? So those 3 steps.
Oh yeah. So if you are, what's your plan to vote? Okay.
Yeah. So,
right.
But I think you got this, honestly.
Okay, let's try it. JJ from Illinois. All right.
Hi.
Hello. Hey, JJ from Illinois. How you doing? I'm Dante Basco. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too. I am pretty nervous, to be
I'm
honest
nervous
with you.
too. What part of Illinois are you calling in from?
Chicago.
Oh, from Chicago. Shout out to Chi-Town. I love Chicago. Some of the best food in the world, like Osterwald's hamburger is like my favorite hamburger in the whole country. And what's crazy is I recently just talked to a senator from Illinois, Senator Duckworth, and we're talking all about voter registration because, we're getting close to the deadline. There's a big election this year on November 3rd, which I've heard I'm sure you've heard about. Are you registered to vote by chance?
Unfortunately, I am not registered.
Oh, no. Well, that's totally fine. I mean, we're way before the deadline. We have some more time, and we can get you registered so easy. Are you thinking about registering to vote? Where's your mind at on all this?
To be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm very scared to register to vote.
Why?
I am 19, so I missed a whole year. Once I turned 18, I didn't vote when I turned 18.
Okay. No, I totally understand. I didn't register when I was 18 either. I mean, and it wasn't for me. It wasn't a presidential election, so I didn't think much of it. But those ones also matter a lot in who we elect into office. But what are you scared about? Like, what's your fears?
I'm a first generation Mexican American, so really, the fact that I had to process the fact that I just turned 18 and I was basically becoming an adult. So it's just like the fact that I didn't have any guidance. Like my parents, they're immigrants, so they really never told me anything of like voting or, what's the importance of voting and anything like that. So I guess that fear slowly consumed me. That's why I missed a year. Like I just didn't register to vote.
Well, I understand your fear. I'm also a child of an immigrant. I'm Filipino, and my grandfather came from the Philippines, and my dad came as a young child. And so I totally understand the fear of it. But the great thing is this America. We're a land of immigrants. That's what we are. And this process of voting is really important because we get to affect the next people that we are voting, presidents and alike, senators, congresspeople, to help create the laws that are going to affect us directly. And so it's very important to be a part of this process. It's not really even a scary process. It's really easy. We can go on so many different websites, including 2020 Project, to look at your status as a voter and quickly get you registered to vote before the deadline. So November 3rd, you can join in the process of voting. What do you think about that?
Actually, since like I'm a very huge fan of you, so like hearing you actually like talking so passionately about like how the importance of to register to vote, it makes me have like a bit more courage on myself that I can actually do this.
Right. No, I feel you. I think sometimes it just the whole process feels bigger than us. But the reality is, I've talked to so many different people, especially recently, about how each vote counts, because it's easy to feel like none of our votes really count. And literally, like the senator from your state was telling me about a precinct that it came down, it was tied for one of the elected officials, and they had to do a coin toss to decide the winner. And if one other person voted on either side, that would have swayed it completely. So it's really, really important for our voice to be heard, especially as people of color in America. I think it's on us in our generation to kind of really help shape the next generation of what's going to be happening, not just for us in our communities, but in the higher levels of government.
Yes, exactly.
So are you down? I mean, we can go down to 2020project.org. That's going to be an easy one for us to go to. Or you can go to different places like Instagram or places like that to just register to vote really quickly. Is that something you'd be willing to do?
Yes, I'll do it right now. Like, I have the time, so.
All right, let's go. What should we do? Well, let's go to I guess we'll go to 2020.org, 2020project.org. Let's see it and see if we can, when we get there. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna go on it with you. This would be, I'm learning, JJ, I'm new with this too. So, I'm here. Here we go. So if you go on it, you can go to hello. Yeah, you come back, Chris. Chris, can you come back and walk us through it? I'm gonna need my mentor here, my uncle Iro, to help me walk through this. I'm on 2020 project right now. We're gonna do this with JJ in live time. It's awesome.
Okay. Hello. Hi, JJ. Let me pull up. Thank you so much. I also, Dante, we can debrief afterward, but thank you so much for hopping on. So it's vote, for anyone who's registering along with JJ, it's vote.2020-project.org and then /vote. Okay, so you see this. So the first thing you see, there's check your registration. So JJ, you already know your registration status. For anyone who is on there and they're like, I'm not 100% sure, just check right now, because you don't know how the voter list might have changed since you last voted. You can scroll down to that, and there's a tool we partnered with Rock the Vote that says register to vote. And it says voter registration time takes an average of 2 minutes or less to complete. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do y'all see it? Or I can screen share super quick for everyone. All right. Let me do that right now.
This is so cool, JJ. I'm going through this with you right now also.
All right. So so this is what the website looks like. You can see check your registration right up here. And if you scroll down all the way past, there's so much information. Then we're going to see register to vote. Obviously, we're not going to show JJ's email address or zip code, but this is what it kind of looks like, right? Are you on here? JJ?
Oh, yeah.
JJ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So let me just stop screen sharing then if you have found it. But that will take you to the Rock the Vote tool where you can click through and go through, and it takes on average just 2 minutes. 2 minutes,
JJ. So that's great. So that's the perfect way. Just let's do that right now. It takes 2 minutes, and that'll be so wonderful. And then, get prepared to vote November 3rd. There's a lot of information you can find online about which candidates you're going to want to vote for. You don't have to commit to any party or anything like that. Just try to find people that you think are going to align with the ideas that you want to do and be a part of the process. I mean, we're Americans.
Yeah.
Are we good? So JJ, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it so much. Shout out to Chicago. Have a lovely rest of the evening, and congratulations on being a registered voter.
Thank you.
Thank you. Woo! I'm a little nervous right there, Chris. I ain't gonna lie.
You did amazing. You did amazing. I'm so
sweating. I'm a little warm in my little Hawaiian shirt right now.
I'm honestly sweating on your behalf because I got
thank you.
Stress. So
I know.
Do you want to debrief that call real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Something that I loved about this, I think you really learned how to resonate with JJ. I feel like you were listening to her story and you were like, okay, this is something that I resonate with. My family and my ancestors were also immigrants. This is what this means to me and how it relates to voting. And you let her tell her story first.
Oh yeah. No, I'm definitely interested in people and their stories, and so that part's pretty easy. And it was cool. It was cool. I was just nervous because when you're just doing it unscripted, you're just out here what you do this, and not having. Well, the big thing I fear is I don't have all the information, and so I'm scared to talk about things sometimes if I'm not equipped with all the answers. I'd rather not talk about it. But like you said, to be honest and have just an open conversation and move that needle forward is important.
Yeah, I agree. And I think also another thing is like I can tell you brought up like the anecdote from your interview with Senator Duckworth twice this time.
I'm bringing her up. I'm bringing up Senator Duckworth every time.
You're name dropping everywhere. So again, I think it was a good conversation point and it was a good flex.
Yes.
But I think I can tell like it is very much like a conversation to you rather than like this is my like talking points XYZ that I have to hit. It's just really like this is a story that like really like it was a really cool experience and I wanted to share it with you. And that's honestly like I really love that. So
thank you, Chris. Well, you're a good coach. You and Uncle Iro, very good mentors. I appreciate it.
I'm honored. I feel like I should have maybe like flipped it and had the deltas first. But so on my thread of since I have gotten my Uncle Iro stamp, now I can give critiques.
Yes.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is keep in mind like when you have your links ready to go. So just be like, all right, like what's the link again? Like this
exactly. I was definitely like, what's that link? Yeah. It's around here somewhere. No, you're right. You guys, when you're talking to people out there, have your links ready to go. I mean, if I had the links ready to go, I've been able to sign her up in 2 minutes. So that'd be the easiest and fastest way to do it for sure.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I would say. And again, I think if we were talking regularly and and for everyone out there who are like checking with your friends and family, this like we can't do on screen, but I would say like check in with them again. You know, it's not just like a one contact. All right, bye. It is very much all right, like register to vote. 1 week later, made a plan to vote yet? Things like that. 1 week later, you need a ride to the polls. Yeah.
Yeah. Return conversation. Keep the conversation going.
Yeah. Other than that, you did amazing. Thank you so much for talking to folks. And I will now sign off and retreat into the shadows. So
thank you, Chris. I learned a lot. Thank you so much.
For sure. Thanks.
Whew, we got the Agni call out the way. I feel good. And now we're going to do some more shout out videos. This time it's from Sam Sukatan and Never Have I Ever's Eddie Liu and 13 Reasons Why's Michelle Celine Ong. And from really good friends of mine, 2-time Olympic medalist skaters Alex and Maya Shibutani. Check it out.
Hey, I'm Sam. I'm voting in 2020 because my family and our community are essential. Both of my parents are essential workers. My mom's a nurse doing COVID-19 testing. My dad's a mechanic with the United States Postal Service. Hundreds of thousands of families just like mine are in a unique bind during the pandemic because we're API. On the one hand, politicians are not giving us the tools we need to succeed, and we're overrepresented in essential work. Postal workers, nurses, teachers, doctors, there's a lot of us who are API. On the other hand, politicians are using terms like Wuhan virus or China virus that create this hysteria that puts us in danger the minute we leave our homes. We need better leadership. That's why I'm asking you to go to vote-2020-project.org to register to vote, check your voter registration, and pledge to vote. Our community is really uniquely impacted by this, and so it's going to take all of us to get out of it. Thanks so much.
Hey everybody, this is Eddie Liu. Now, as an Asian American, I have relatives who sometimes talk about American politics as if it doesn't have a direct effect on us. Maybe because we came here as immigrants and maybe we don't feel that we're American enough or that we're visible enough. Those feelings are valid. But this is 2020 and everything that has happened has affected somebody somehow, some way. We do have a voice and we have to use it. This is without a doubt going to be the most important election of our lives. So go to vote-2020-project.org. And thank you to the 2020 Project for getting the word out.
I think there's one more. No? Is there one more?
I think one of the most important things we need to remember when we vote in this election and in every election afterwards is that when you vote, you're not only voting for yourself, but for everyone you love. All of your descendants that'll come after you, every generation to come. So vote for yourself, yes, but also know that it affects everybody. And if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for others. Do it for people that you love. And don't forget to visit vote-2020-project.org to make sure you're registered to vote. Shout out to the 2020 Project. And I hope to see you all at the polling place. We got to do this.
everyone, I'm Mai Shibutani.
And I'm her brother Alex Shibutani. And we want you to vote in the upcoming election.
Why? Well, elections have very real consequences. Your vote is your voice. And when you vote, you have the power to make a positive impact and shape the future of our country.
So register to vote. And if you think you're already registered, please confirm your voter registration status. Then come up with a plan to make sure you get it done. You can request a mail-in ballot or you can vote early. Remember, deadlines and regulations vary per state, so it's important to be organized.
For more info, check out the resources available on the 2020 Project website.
Yo, thank you again so much to Sam and Eddie and Michelle and Alex and Maya. You guys get out there, go vote. Love seeing all these videos from these wonderful, wonderful artists. And now next up, I'm really, really excited to introduce a special musical performance from a dear friend of mine, a fellow Filipino, a kababayan of mine, artist and producer, Ruby Ibarra. Yo, Ruby.
What up, y'all? My name is Ruby Ibarra, and this upcoming elections is more important than ever before for our community to go out to the polls and exercise our right to vote and understand the power, the impact of our vote. I wrote this album because I want my life to change. Tired of being shortchanged, I'm trying to remain sane. Hopped off the plane, didn't stop all the pain. My father's still in debt and we've been struggling to pay for a bedroom up on Meekland Ave. Reaching for just meat and half, hands tied against the odds. How you gonna even that? People from the slums once, now living the humdrum. Mama from the bottom, so we dream when we can stunt once, mama. I know it's gonna be fine wherever we go, cause we know your race is go to dream and be a hero. What's an ego? It's an eagle. I free flow when I speak though. My pipe dreams through peephole. My skin so Filipino. Oftentimes my pride inside is spotting high tides. Day we broke the ocean, was the day you learn to nosedive. Closed eyes, fingerprint ink with the most die. Those times mama never blink, say the oath twice. I said mama we gon' make it there someday. I said mama we gon' make it there someday. I said mama we gon' make it there someday. I said mama we gon' make it there someday. I said mama we gon' make it here. Yeah, I said mama we gon' make it here. I said mama we gon' make it here. Yeah, I said mama we gon' make it here. And we gon' make it this day. I feel the sun's rays open up my eyes. I feel brave cause I once made a promise to myself that I'm a vessel. So it's one way that I'ma take up space until I'm done. Let the song play, my friends say unpaid. These days be the worst days. We pray, they lay more cases at a worse rate. Help us find a way, we rise up, carry this weight. Frontliners lead the way, and we thank them for the risks made. Worst case, fixed ways, fixed wage, mistakes. But this case, fist race, Tacloban City, birthplace. Circa 91, cause we immigrants in this place. Gentrified, displaced, stayed alive in this race. Took a plane this way, across the ocean this wave. Settled in the bay, so I hit him with the this face. Grew up in a way that I knew myself, I can't wait for another day to rise up, we'll make it someday. And election day is on November 3rd. Make sure y'all go out to vote. Someday, I said, mama, we gon' make it there someday. I said, mama, we gon' make it there someday. I said, mama, we gon' make it there someday. I said, mama, we gon' make it here. Yeah, I said, mama, we gon' make it here. I said, mama, we gon' make it here. Yeah, I said, mama, we gon' make it here someday.
Yo, thank you, Ruby. Definitely one of the illest rappers out right now. Thank you for the amazing performance, as always, and being an important pillar in our community. Next up, we got a short talk about how music fuels the sound of politics and activism by some folks I'm very proud to call friends of mine. And I want to remind everybody to go to vote-2020-project.org/vote So go there, register to vote. And moderating this whole panel is a very good friend of mine, Minji Chang, from Collaboration, a dear friend. What's up, Minji? How
Hey,
you doing?
Dante, how are you?
I'm doing well. We've all been cooped up during COVID, and it's so great to see a lot of friends
So
and
good to
fam
see
here.
you. I'm so happy to hear your voice and see your face. I've missed you, man.
I miss you too. But I'm gonna let you take it away. Take
Okay.
it away, Minji. Have a good panel. I'll be back, you guys, after the panel.
All
Minji
right.
Chang, y'all.
Thank you. See you later, Dante. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in for this panel. I'm so excited to bring on some incredible musicians. Asian American Pacific Islander community has been inspired by these folks for years, and we're going to chat it up to talk about the importance of voting and having our voices represented. So without further ado, real quick, I just want to plug Collaboration. Dante and I have met through the Asian American Creative Space, and so that's the worlds that we collide in. And I'm also an actor and podcast host, and we're here to elevate the Asian American story. So now that we got that out of the way, we're going to bring in our panelists, because we got an amazing human being, one of the OGs of YouTube, an extremely talented musician, singer, songwriter, performer, musical director. We have Mr. AJ Raphael. AJ, if you will join me.
Wow. Is that me? Were you
That is-
introducing me?
That is so you. Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hi. I'm on the YouTube chat as well. So shout outs to everyone who I've been saying hi to already. Dante, you've been killing it. Hello, Minji. Again, for those who don't know me, yes, singer, songwriter, musician. It was just my 14th year anniversary on YouTube. So to those who have been watching me since middle school and high school, I love y'all so much. And yeah, I'm excited to get this panel going.
Dope. I love it. You've been here with us for generations, man. I love it. I love you, AJ. Seriously,
Love
soundtrack
you.
of my life. You know that.
Yeah, you're the best.
And now next up, we have Ryanjali, who is an incredible musician who's based out of New York City. She's born and raised in Queens. She's an incredible talent. She has quite a story, extremely passionate about representation, about all the different narratives that make this amazing country great. So we'll bring on Ryanjali. Come on in.
Hi, thank you
Hi.
for having me. What's up, guys?
How is it going? Do you want to let us know a little bit about you before we bring on our last panelist?
Yeah, Minji and I were talking a little bit virtually backstage, but I've been singing for a long time, got into this game professionally a couple of years ago, got some, amazing opportunities, and I had to kind of ride with it since. But honestly, that led me to the realization of representation, because while I was always aware of it, you're not really 100% aware of it until you're in it and you realize how much that is lacking. And, I've never really even been that kind of like a huge political person, but now it's just like, we don't have a choice. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have a choice. This is just something that we need to do. It doesn't matter if you don't know everything. You just have to be involved. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Snap. This is why it's going to be, we're already in a great conversation. Come on. Okay. Well, we're going to bring in our last panelist, because we're going to complete this little family we're going to create today. We're bringing in Dan Matthews, Dan, aka Dan, who is a rapper. He's an amazing artist. He's a producer. He is an all around great human being who supports the community so passionately for so many years through ISA TV, through Identity LA. And Dan, where you at? Let's bring you on. I don't know if you're still wearing your mask though. There he is.
What's going on? I'm here. What's up?
Safety. I love
What
that.
up? What
Respect
up?
that. How you doing, Dan? You want to say hi to everybody tuning in?
I'm doing well. I'm really honored to be a part of this. I've been talking to the 2020 Project for a little while, and it's amazing that this event is happening, especially for such an important day. I am wearing a mask right now. It's not just to wear a mask for the sake of it. I'm around other people, so I'm just trying to keep my other people safe and sound. So that's the main reason for it. But again, just super excited to be here, really thankful, and I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you here too, Dan. Thank you for representing the mask wearers and promoting health and safety. We appreciate this is what community is about, is looking out for each other while looking out for ourselves.
Amen.
So we're going to jump right into this conversation, because all of us here are creatives, but you all specifically are musicians, right? So we're here to talk about the power of music. And we just had Ruby Ibarra, who's fire, just help set the vibe for this chat. But I'm just curious, keep it really open to understand what drives you as a musician in terms of this conversation. Have you been politically influenced by music, or do you use your music to politically influence? I know that's a pretty loaded question, but we're just jumping right in.
Sure.
Because we're talking about representation, right? So how has music politically influenced you? Like, made you more aware or not? I'm really curious to know what you guys think.
Wow. Okay, that's a loaded question. I'll take it first. I think I feel like music is inherently political because a lot of the genres I think that have evolved out of, you know, the very first musicians in the whole world, you know, genres like reggaeton and like rock and roll, punk rock, these kind of different sounds that had to be fought for. You know, I'm sure that all that and the fight that and the battles that those genres have, like, that lead to music today, that's political in its own right. You know, I think that the fact that we're Asian American artists is political. It's kind of a protest to what people see as what mainstream music is, you know? So I think if it's not blatantly in my lyrics, you know, I do want to give people the context of where I stand as well. But also I think just our identities here on this panel is a protest in itself to, you know, what the system has created to what musicians should be or not. So
well
said. That's honestly on point. I feel like, you know, we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for so many of the fights that others have done and fought for us before us, you know. And it's still kind of a struggle now. But for me personally, you know, for the last like 15 years, I've been asked to sing this one specific song at every like community event that I go to. I'm actually half Bangladeshi, half Indian. I mean, I'm you know, born and raised in New York, but my parents' background. And the concert for Bangladesh was something that was thrown in 1971. And I believe like the Beatles and Ravi Shankar, they put it together. And that was like one of the biggest things that happened. It was like one of the first ever benefit concerts of that magnitude that raised that much awareness about the genocide. And I actually didn't know about it until I was asked to do that song, but you know, about 15 years ago. And then my dad sat me down and he was like, I was a part of that. Like, I had to flee the country. I had to do this. And I was like, this is a song that they hold so dearly that I was asked to, I actually just sang it about a week ago. It's called Song for Bangladesh by the Beatles. And the words are heavy. You know, it's about the genocide, and they raised so much money. And in overnight, like, the world knew about Bangladesh, like a country that probably in 1971, like, no one really even knew about it or cared to like research about it. The world knew, and it changed the course. And so I feel like that's something that educated me, you know, about my own heritage, about my own background, because it's not a guarantee that we'll always know what happened to the people before us, even though we are what we are Asian Americans, but we have to do a little bit of research because we're born in this country, for most of us, you know? So that's something that was like really personal to me. And I feel like that's just inherently influenced the way that I speak to my fans. You know, I don't necessarily create political music, but I have a platform. At the very least, I can use that to bring awareness. You know, I just partnered with the Census Bureau, and all I did was sing a song in Bengali and then say my little thing. And I don't even sing Bengali that well, but it got like a huge community of Bengali Americans to listen, to be like, who is this person? Why is she singing in Bengali, but also partnering with the census? What is the census? So it's like, you know, that's a really great way to kind of involve yourself. So that's my 2 cents, you know?
Amazing. Keep those cents coming, bro.
Yeah, I agree completely with what they both said. I don't have a ton to add to that, mainly because they really hit it on the nose. But I will say that growing up, music is such an accessible way to just learn about the world and the messages that are out there. And so I think that I was extremely inspired by the people around me that were musicians, or the music that I listened to. And going into day, again, like like AJ said, not Eric, like AJ said, that music is inherently political. Even just me performing in general just becomes a political statement. So I 100% agree. There's a lot of songs that I have written that have potentially political, or at least community-driven messages. And so I think that it's extremely important, and also helps you get that message out in a wide varieties of ways. So I totally agree.
It's really interesting because I you know, respect for all of you, because I think there's a level of courage and bravery that's inherent in our generation. I mean, like AJ and Dan, like I know you guys from YouTube before I met you in person, or like got to go to your concerts in person, right? And that's how I discovered both of you. And it's like what technology and the internet has provided us more accessibility to a wider range of voices and perspectives, which is incredible. But a lot of our generation, the millennials, have been trailblazers in a lot of ways. And in that, there's kind of like, you're the first ones, you're pioneering this voice. And I'm curious how that felt for you. Did it feel taking on that role and having your image or your art politicized for you when you didn't even, maybe that's not, you just wanted to like sing songs or just make music that makes you feel good. How's that experience been for you? Kind of discovering that and embracing it or struggling with it?
Dan, go first this time.
I'd say that it's a extreme, especially because YouTube relatively is new. All of the social stuff is relatively new. And so it's been really exciting seeing it kind of grow like as we've grown. Like YouTube's literally grown as a platform in the same way that like AJ, when you first started on it, when I first started on it, when our friends did, it was growing at the same pace that we were. So we not only were we learning new things, but we learn new things and express those new things as the platforms were growing. So I think that's a really exciting opportunity for artists that are coming up, especially around the time that we did.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like Twitter started as, when I very first started Twitter, it was like to tell people where you were or what you were doing. Like, what are you doing right now? Like if I would tweet that I was at the mall, like I would maybe run into someone who like went to the mall to meet me. You know what I mean? Like it was just like kind of a thing, like loose kind of way to communicate with people. And then, as the years gone by, notice the power that all of us have with any kind of following, even 100 people, right? Like, but the more it grows as well, then the more pressure you feel. And I have like felt that for a while. I'm like, do I speak up on this or do I not? One thing I've very strongly been speaking about is like Asian American representation. Like, of course, like to an extent, it does kind of feel, like safe, like that I'm preaching to the choir. Like all my followers know this, all of you guys know this, so when I say something else that is just like out of left field, like like F the orange man and I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything like this, but that when I say something extreme like that, and if I do happen to look over at my analytics and see how many followers I have and stuff, that would start getting to me probably if I looked every single time I tweeted something crazy, and that's not even crazy. We're just like saying how it is, right? But yeah, there is like a risk of what you want your perception to be. But in the last 4 years, I really have been, I don't know. I feel like the platform is a responsibility as well. Music. We are musicians, yes, we're artists, but we're also citizens. You know what I mean? And like, if someone doesn't want to follow us for like what we believe in and stuff, then that, I know a lot of people, we get caught up in that and what that is for you, and you want everyone to like you, but we got to stand up for something. So, I mean, everyone knows my passion online, but yeah, go. Bring on Jolly. Yes.
Yeah. I think just to echo that statement, because recently I have been talking a lot more about it than I was maybe like 2-3 years ago. And that's naturally because of the fear that you might have when you first kind of are like figuring out the space. And now I'm just like, man, if you're going to unfollow me because I support the BLM movement or because I'm talking about Asian representation, like you can go find someone else to follow. And I say that with all love because I need the people who follow me to genuinely follow who I am. I'm not looking to grow my numbers just to grow my numbers. It is like AJ said, like it's a responsibility that you have, because even though you're musicians, like back in, like 30 years ago, or even like 20 years ago, we didn't have social media platform, right? But now people are not only just following you for your music, but they're following you to follow what you do, what your life consists of, like who you like, who you listen to. So they know who you are a lot more. And part of that, if this is part of that, then like they need to be okay with that. And I think for the most part, though, I have, I think I feel like I've gotten support. Who knows, maybe if my followership grows, like I'll lose a couple, but I did notice like a couple, backing off if I'm talking too much about stuff. But again, like, my intentions are all for the right reasons. And majority of people do understand that.
For sure. I think I respect all of you for stepping into that platform, because I don't think that that's a simple thing to do. And everyone has their various following and their different agendas of why they are on social media. But to consciously do that, to consciously be aware that, hey, I'm putting in a way my neck on the line, my music and whatever, like followers can be followers for sure. But it's also like your guys' business. It's part of like, your livelihood is to have your audience, right? And to speak with them and engage with them. So respect for all of you for standing up for what you believe in, having that authenticity. I think long-term, that speaks so much to all of you. And that's why I'm telling everyone watching, go follow all of them, because I want to be their hype woman.
Hey,
they're
everyone
all quality
follow
artists.
Everyone follow Minji as well, because she does a lot of stuff, for the community as well. And she has an amazing podcast and stuff, but she's always standing up for what she believes in and actually doing the work. You know what I mean? And it is one thing to also be able to tweet and retweet stuff and things like that. But, Minji straight up puts events together and stuff based on just one issue. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever that may be. So, we need more people like Minji in this world as well.
Cheers to that.
Cheers, guys. We all have our drinks.
Thank you.
Dan, where are you that you are in
a
public space? If you don't mind me asking, Dan.
No, I'm in an apartment.
Oh,
looks like a public space. Yeah.
It looks like a co-working space.
Like a loft. It's the downtown LA skyline.
I've got hella people just listening to my conversation all around me.
Nice.
All downtown. Yep.
I love that we all also did stuff for the census. Like, how cool is that? It's 2020. It's a census year, and all of us here happen to have done something for that.
Do you want to talk about that census? Like, anybody want to talk about census? Because I honestly realized very recently, which is sad. I was like, oh, I'm in my 30s. I was like, I got the census 10 years ago in my 20s. I definitely didn't take it. I did not fill out the census 10 years ago. And I was like, oh. And I'm wondering, like, these all like points of recognition. Did you guys do it 10 years ago? Or like, am I the only one?
I definitely didn't do it 10 years ago. I'm like, how old am I now? I feel like I was living with my parents 10 years ago. I feel like they did it because one person in the household can do it for you. I think they did it for everyone, I'm pretty sure. But honestly, when I was approached by one of the, the employees, he was pretty much saying that in New York City, which is such a dense population, especially of like immigrants, there was like a 30% fill out rate. And I was like, that sounds crazy for New York, right? Like that doesn't even sound real. But he was saying that these are the communities that actually need the most. And like, there's so many things I learned just from having that conversation where he was trying to like pitch, like, do you want to work with us kind of thing? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Cause this is like, sounds like a no brainer. We get funding. We lose out on funding for schools, for like security, like all the stuff that I was like, again, no brainer. And he was like, I know you don't really sing in your like mother language. I was like, I have an accent now when I speak in my like own language, but I will try my best to sing like like a Bengali song or something, because if it's kind of like clickbait, like if that gets them to be like, oh, who's this? She sounds like me, right? Then that was helpful. And it's cool. Like you said, you're all actually Asian American, and up until like this year, I think that was just not in their mindset. But like, why not? There's so many of us, right? We can get out the word so fast.
8 days.
And
8 days
shout out,
now.
they just threw up a comment, but somebody just did shout it out. There's 8 days left, which is a really short amount of time. And especially the people that I think that are on watching right now, that you're probably in a place where you're like in between like maybe you're right out of college or still in college, and you might be in between moving. Still fill it out, because that was I think the reason why I maybe didn't fill it out, or my friends didn't fill it out, because I was like, I'm going to be moving pretty soon anyway. Why do I need to fill it out right now if I'm not going to be in this area? But you still need to fill it out.
Yeah, 100%.
And FYI for the entertainment world too, like we're all talking about representation. People refer to census numbers in general. Like when they're saying like, oh, there's such and such a number of people and they make different decisions business wise or other marketing, like they all refer to census numbers. It is beyond just the federal funding, which is billions and billions of dollars. But it makes a big difference. Like we're all in the entertainment world. People talk about census numbers. And I was like, oh, the form that I didn't fill out.
Right. Like even like theaters and stuff, like I imagine that they use the data to know things like that. That's crazy how far how really important it is.
It is.
I'm more confused why we don't get taught this stuff in school. Like I'm about to turn 30 this year and I was like, I'm learning about it now. You know what I mean? So that's kind of wild to me, but that's food for thought for anyone who's in the Board of Ed.
Yes. Everyone encourage your families to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was some really good coaching going on with Dante earlier. He was getting a fan of his registered to vote just before we start our panel. And a lot of effective communication comes directly from friends and family. That's there are influencers, and respect to all of you guys, but also influence comes directly from someone you trust. So anyone listening, don't hold back. And we have a few minutes left in this panel. I do have a couple things as we're talking about kind of owning up to what our experience has been, maybe our lack of knowledge or feeling not quite sure. I think that's a really real conversation that's happening. I'm so thankful because we just have to be honest about this stuff, right? Like you don't have to act like you know everything. How have you guys been having more conversations, and has it been awkward, and how are you dealing with them? Because I'm talking with my parents and I really am, again, realizing I never talked to them about this stuff until now. So I'm curious how that's going in your guys' personal worlds.
I can start if you want. I have been having a lot of conversations with my parents. And it's definitely, it gets awkward at times. I think my parents are both like registered Democrats, but my dad's also like 70. So I think naturally he has a lot of like old fashioned thoughts. And I try really hard not to like get into arguments with him. And I'm just like, listen, he also, I think a part of it is also like, we've never talked about this. So why are you talking to me about it now? Like, what do you know, kind of thing. And I have to like kind of really like calm down and talk to him like, listen, I'm a grown-ass woman, like we need to have this conversation. And it's been uncomfortable at times, but sometimes like I think it's necessary to have a little bit of that discomfort so that they can push beyond that and be like, all right, fine, I sort of hear what you're saying, like we're not really on that much of a different page, but I think if you can try just to get one little thought across to them that makes that will matter to them, then you can push beyond that and open that door, other than that, I feel like it's okay also to choose sometimes to back off a little bit, because some battles you just, it's hard to win. People are definitely, I feel like we've been divided in like half these days, you know what I mean? And if you've tried and you don't succeed, like it's not, don't feel like you've completely failed. There are other ways to talk and communicate and do your part, So yeah, it's been uncomfortable, but we're pushing through it.
Love that. I feel like for me, I'm very lucky. My mom is she's open to talk about it, and we talk about it, and she's open to hearing things and stuff. And also she is a leader at her church. She's one of the music ministers. She's a choir leader, and I've been playing at that church for a long, long time. So her friends in the choir and stuff, they listen to her, and we know that half of them feel like a certain way, but then when they see my mom communicating, and similar to the way that I even speak to my friends, like in a group text and stuff, and I'll bring up a story that I brought up in collaboration at that census event, is when I did that video for the census. I have a group chat for my friends, because this is low key. Dan doesn't know this. It's funny. He works with me with these, but I ask my friends, hey, can y'all like leave a comment on this sponsored post I just did? Just to get the engagement going, just as a friendly thing. And then my homie in the group chat, he was like, yo, I actually haven't filled it out yet. Thanks for reminding me. And I'm like, if all of that was for that, even just my homie to like do that and to remind his parents to do it, and then that spreads the word and chain reaction, I mean, then, we've done our job. So that's what I'll say is, it may come in random kind of happenstance conversations, but it's all important. So, yeah.
Yes. Dan, do you want to chime in with your thoughts?
I would just say that, again, I agree with both of them. That statement in itself is something that I've been thinking about a lot. I actually, when I was promoting this event earlier, I wrote out my feelings on it, but I strongly believe that really what it comes down to is that you need to get it from multiple different angles. And that even if you can just get like one or two people, because it's very likely that like a good friend of yours that you think is like registered to vote or you think did the census probably didn't. It's very likely. And so even just your immediate people around you, if you can get like two of them to do it, like AJ just said, like just having that conversation was extremely helpful. So I think work on what you can do and that you can change from the things that are directly around you. And that's great. You've done your work if you can get that to happen.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, I love this fire. And I wish, honestly, I could kick it with you guys forever and ever. Unfortunately, we do have to close out the panel, but I want to thank all of you, to AJ, to Dan, to Rianjali, for being so amazing and being so passionate and creative. This is such the social media life. We have to stop the panel to take a screen grab. But no, this was so great. And I just appreciate how, truly authentic you are. It speaks volumes. I think that's what's really going to make a difference. I think the little peaks of the comments that I saw, you guys are definitely moving the needle, moving hearts. And that's what music can do. That's what our honest truth can do. So keep doing it. We'll be cheering for you and watching all your Instagram stories and everything, listening to your music. So thank you so much for tuning in. And now we're going to hand it off back to Dante to continue the night.
Dante!
Great panel, man. I love the panel. Thank you again to Minji and our panelists, AJ and Ria and Dan and Minji, the awesome moderator, Minji. So thank you guys so much for joining us for this ZUKO Tuesday and getting everybody inspired to vote. I loved hearing that panel. What a wonderful panel. And again, thank you guys all for joining in and being in the chat and watching. Ashton Harmon and Gabby Park and Four Falls and Graceland Clark and Adonia T, Maya Powers, Sayuri. Thank you guys so much for joining us and being a part of this conversation. Hope you guys are registering to vote, getting your friends out there registered to vote, and signing up for the census. So we're going to go on to the next shout out video. It's coming from an amazing artist, Ian Alexander. You may have recently seen them as the voice of Lev from The Last Part of Us Part 2, or you may see them on the upcoming season of Star Trek Discovery. Here's a short message from Ian Alexander.
I highly, highly encourage you to register and pledge to vote, because voting is a way that our voices in our communities are represented and heard. And you can make change happen with your vote. You can make a difference with your vote. And I also think that young people like myself are often afraid to vote because we don't know every single thing about how to vote and what is right and what is wrong, and we're terrified of making a wrong decision. However, I would encourage everyone to look online for resources, for voting guides, for topics that they are passionate about, because there are resources out there and it's a lot easier than you would think. And there are people who are voting who are completely uninformed. So it's really important that the people that are educated, that are taking a stand for what they believe in, are going out and voting so that we can overpower the voices of people that have no idea what they are voting about. You can check your status of voting, and you can register to vote, and you can pledge to vote and find additional resources at the website vote-2020-project.org. And if you have any other questions, if you want to find any more resources online, you can go to the 2020 Project on Instagram and social media.
Hey, Dante.
What's up? Yo, Osric Chow is in the house.
Been a while.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
It's been a while. It's good to see. It's great. I've not seen anybody in COVID.
I'm in Canada. I'm in Canada, so it's a little bit harder too.
That's a safe place to be. Safe place to be. Hair's looking good. Looks like you lost a little hair.
I know. I was gonna say I love your haircut too.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So now everybody, again, thank you, Ian Alexander, for an amazing shout out message for us. But look, Firebenders, it's now time for trivia, Ember Island style. And here with me is a buddy of mine, Audrey Chow, my producing partner. You might know him from Supernatural, and he's been a long time team rep of 2020 Project, and we love having him around. Audrey, what's up?
You know, I miss trivia night. I was talking to Drea. We just found a bar down the street for us that had a regular trivia night, and we were ready to go for the first time, and then COVID hit. So we never actually did it. We were so excited.
We got the trivia vibes happening right now.
Hell yeah, I'm so excited.
Should we explain the rules? Go ahead.
I actually don't know the rules. Let's find out these rules.
Let's find out. It's right here. It says there'll be 4 rounds. There'll be 4 rounds.
That's right. I think we're actually going to get people to play with us. I think that's the idea.
Yes, they're going to be playing with us, and you're everyone. For the winner of the whole thing, I'm going to do a shout out, a personal shout out cameo message to them. But there'll be 4 rounds total with 5 questions per round. 2 rounds based on electoral politics, and 2 rounds based on Avatar: Last Airbender. We are starting with electoral politics, right? So, do you see the rest of the rules?
I mean, I'm looking at these rules. So, I mean, if everyone is going to that site right now,
right?
Everyone's signing up. What are these rules? Where are you seeing these rules, Dante?
I have a little bit of a script here, but I'm going to read it off. Everyone will have 30 seconds to answer. Each question is worth 100 points to start with, and will dwindle down to as time passes. So you have to answer them correctly and quickly. So the quicker you answer, the more points you are going to get.
Clearly, I did not get the script, so I'm glad you know the rules.
I'm going to say your lines too. Why not?
Well, thanks, Dante.
We've done this before.
I know. It's true. I mean, I'm just going to remind everyone to go to ahaslides.com/58583. We have a lot. We have 58, 60. Man, we got a lot of players. Okay, let's just wait a moment, get everyone in there. Oh, this is exciting. I'm super competitive. Do we get teams?
Yeah, no, they're good. They're on their own. We're not playing, Oz. We're just hosting. We're just giving out the questions.
All right.
But everyone go to that link. And again, I'll just remind you that the top scorer will receive a custom recorded message from me. Whatever as you want, as I can do it as Prince Zuko, as Rufio, as Jake Long, just as myself, as Ben Mercado from the debut, whatever you want.
Wait, hold on. Dante, are any of those characters actually different from you?
No, they're all the same person. I'm one of those special voice actors that is always sounding a little bit like me.
I love it. Okay, looks like we have 162 players.
Oh my God, there's a lot of people playing with us.
Are we ready to start? No. Oh wow, it's still going up. Okay.
Oh, we're still going. Let us know when we're ready to go. Who's gonna? Well, they're gonna. They're gonna let us know because they're gonna put the first question on, and then we'll just go. We have. We'll just see how we go. We have.
Okay. All right. We're gonna give another 20 seconds.
Okay.
I would play along if I have not already looked at all the answers, so I'm not going to play along.
Right, can't play along. Okay.
I know, that's cheating, unfortunately. Wow, we almost have 200 players. All right, get in there because, again, half the questions are going to be political and the other half are going to be Avatar related.
So you got to know both. You got to know both.
Some of them might be both together. We don't know. We
don't know.
No. It might
you got to answer them as quick as possible. So like Googling and getting the answer, you're going
to lose points. You're losing points that way.
You're going to lose points. Just roll with it. And I'm going to tell you something. The questions are pretty hard. I didn't know half the answers to any of these things.
Oh, okay. We're starting.
Go ahead. You take the first question.
Okay. First one. When Prince Zuko eventually taught Aang firebending, someone else attempted to teach him first. Who was this person?
Who was this person? Uncle Iroh, General Zhong, Master Pian Dao, or Master Paku?
Are you giving the answer? Or you just
no. I mean, there's. I think it's multiple choice.
Dante, do you know the answer?
No. I don't. I don't know if I will. I mean, I don't know.
Attempted to train it. I'm gonna assume it.
I'd say Uncle Iroh. That's the guy I know, but I don't think it's him. I think
it's probably his.
Master Paku. General Zhong.
That was my second choice. Okay.
Okay, so
All right.
we'd already be losing.
Okay,
We'd already be losing.
I guess I did not memorize the answers, and even though I have seen Avatar and I love it. All right, Dante, this
Okay,
is
here we
you.
go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's see. Which of the 4 bending styles did Uncle Arrow study to master lightning redirection?
Okay, I
So y'all
should know this. I should know this.
I did know this one. I do know this answer to this one.
Fire bending, earth bending, water bending, or air bending. I'm guessing earth bending.
Well, that's a good guess.
Water bending, because wait, air bending. They all seem very plausible.
Valid. They are very plausible. Very, very plausible.
Earth bending means because you're grounded. Air bending because it's in the air. But earth because he like grounds himself.
Water bending. I don't know. But you were there. That was your second one.
You know what?
That
I was coming from the perspective of science.
166 people got that one right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I'm with you, 13, who chose earth bending. Probably guessed. Okay. While their physical forms may seem a bit fishy, these 2 spirits who reside at the North Pole represent which aspects of nature? Darkness and light, good and evil, the moon and the ocean, the moon and the sun. You know what? Those were not the aspects of nature that I was thinking about.
That's what you're thinking.
No.
I mean, I believe this has to do with you know, the moon, Sokka's girlfriend turning to the moon and all that stuff.
The moon. Oh! I remember that episode. The moon and the sun. Then you think?
I think moon and the ocean. Yes, the moon and the ocean. There you go. 134 got that right. Sokka's last girlfriend turned into the moon. That's what was going on.
I do remember that episode now. It has now become clear to me how long it's been since I've seen the show.
P.S. These slides look so cool.
Yeah.
Good job, Davis. Or whoever did these slides.
I think it is Davis. Davis, great job.
Okay, here we go. I'll do this question. Remember, the question's faster, the more points you get. Masters of the art of swamp bending. This is interconnected tribe of waterbenders known as the Banyan Grove tribe, the Foggy Swamp tribe, the Bayou Bender tribe, the Roll Tide tribe. What y'all think it is?
Banyan Grove tribe. Again, I'm just guessing. It has I have like these.
I feel like it's. I don't know. Maybe
the Foggy Swamp tribe.
I think it's the Foggy Swamp tribe.
That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good.
Swamp benders are a little shady group of water benders out there.
Shady group. Foggy Swamp tribe. Okay, I'm gonna go with your.
Yes.
Dang. All right. Wow. It's like you know this show that you were in.
You know. How well do you know Supernatural? How well can you answer trivia on Supernatural? You got it or no?
Probably as well as you got Avatar.
Exactly. Yeah. I would say I'm a C student in Avatar trivia.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's see. Okay, question 5. Finish the quote. My name is Toph. It rhymes with... Oh, this is fun. Rhymes with rough, gruff, tough, buff. Well... I mean, I pronounced it for you. My name is T-O-F-H. It rhymes with rough, gruff, tough, or buff.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like it rhymes with any of them.
I think it's buff, right? Tough?
Tough.
Tough, buff, gruff,
rhymes with
rough, tough, rough. Actually, it rhymes with none of them.
It rhymes with none of these.
Tough.
It doesn't rhyme with tough.
She's wrong then.
She's wrong. She's incorrect, little tough. Little tough, you're incorrect.
Tough. Okay, I'm thinking about that one way too much. We got to remember these characters aren't perfect. It's not like they get it right every time. They probably wouldn't do very well in this trivia.
Oh, so we have a leaderboard. Wow. We have Chrissy at the top of the leaderboard, 47 points.
Wow.
Anna, 465, Sanj, Tim Tams,
wow,
Eldrick, Jay-Z's playing.
Yeah, Jay-Z's in here.
Shout out to Hova. You're right there at the top of the leaderboard, Hov.
Dang. Tied for 6th place too. That's really good.
All right. We got more questions coming up. Which of these states will send out vote by mail ballots in 2020 without you having to request one? Ooh, Georgia, Washington, New York, Texas. Which of these states will send out vote by mail ballot. I don't have any clue.
Okay, I'm thinking. Actually, it could be Washington or Texas.
I feel like they all should send out vote by mail ballot, especially in a COVID situation.
They should, but I remember seeing this news article. Is it Texas or New York? I mean, New York is, it's Georgia, Texas. Nope. It's Washington. It's Washington.
Ooh, a lot of people went for New York. It's
Wow.
Washington.
All right. It's not Texas. It was not Texas.
It was definitely not Texas.
No.
Definitely. Question 720.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Who was the first Democratic Asian American candidate for president of the United States? Andrew Yang, Kamala Harris, Patsy Mink, Hiram Fong.
That's a good question.
I know that Andrew Yang and Kamala Harris were the last ones. Or I guess Andrew was the last one, and then Kamala before that.
I don't even know. I need to brush up on Patsy Mink and Hiram Fong.
Patsy or Hiram?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Patsy, Hiram. It's Patsy.
Patsy Mink. Oh, I'm telling you, this is a hard trivia. This is not easy trivia.
Yeah, also a woman. That's first Asian American candidate was a woman.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I need to brush up on who Patsy Mink is, honestly.
I know. Yeah. Question.
All right, here we go. You guys, fastest answers win. United States Congress has how many voting members? That's a good question. That's a good question.
Oh, these are solid numbers too.
These are solid numbers.
If I were to guess, 535 or 435.
That's the biggest number.
I just feel like 500, 100 are they're too rounded. It's too convenient. I'm gonna go 535 because we have a lot, right? Or 435.
You're gonna go with that? That's where you can go. Let's see how smart you are within our political process.
435. Damn it.
535.
It was 535. Okay.
Trivia night is not going to be your spot right now. You're drunk taking shots for bad answers right now.
You gotta practice it, right? Like I told you, I didn't even go the one time, so I gotta work my way up. Okay. Man, I don't think I've gotten any of these right.
So go ahead.
C-SPAN televises proceedings of the United States government, specifically in the House of Congress. What does the acronym C-SPAN stand for? Cable Satellite Public Affairs Network, Congressional Special Public Access Network, Cable Special Public Affairs Network, Congressional Special Public Affairs Network. I don't know. All I know that they're all a mouthful.
So remind everyone has 30 seconds to answer, and each question is worth 100 points to start and will dwindle by the end when it passes. And so the quicker you answer, the faster you will.
I should have guessed that one. I should have guessed that one. I actually would have gotten that one right. I don't know why I didn't guess that one. Cable Satellite Public Affairs Network.
No idea. Definitely did not know that. So here we go. We're at question 10. We're going to say leaderboard again. How many Americans voted in the 2016 general election?
This one I do know.
Wow. How many?
Between 200 and 250 million, perhaps?
Between 150, 200 million, between 100 and 150 million, between 50 and 100 million.
How many Americans voted in 2016 general election? What's the population of America? Approximately 400 million?
I also do not know the answer to that, but I think it's 400 million.
I think it's just under 400 million. So the highest on this is like half.
Between 100 and 150 million, you guys. That's if it's less than half.
Less than half.
That's like a quarter to, between a quarter and 2/3.
Quarter to half. Yeah.
We can do better than that, you guys. We could definitely do better than that.
We can definitely do better. That means there's opportunity for us to have our
leaderboard. Clown Town at the top. Sanj is still there.
Yeah, Chrissy went down.
Zuko's honor.
Ooh.
Jay-Z still in the house. Hov is still in the house. Adonia, Ty, what's up, Sophie? You guys are doing great.
Wow.
I don't think me and you would be on this leaderboard.
No, I would be like down near the bottom, I think. Exiled from his homeland, Prince Zuko searched the world for one particular person. Why does he want to capture the Avatar? To steal his bending?
Why indeed?
To force him to fight for the Fire Nation? To kill him personally? To restore his honor? This is one question surely you know.
I know this answer. You guys should know. If you guys are Avatar heads out there, you should definitely know that. And we have 10 seconds to find out the final answer.
I'm guessing it's to restore his honor, and I only know that because I hear you say that all the time.
I know. I must capture the Avatar to restore my honor.
Oh,
there it is. And nearly everybody almost got it right there.
Yeah,
that was great.
I know Jay-Z got that one right.
Jay-Z must, other people steal his abilities. That's next season.
You mean the next series?
The next series. You know, frequently during their adventures, the gang would run into a certain unlucky merchant. What did he sell?
The gang.
The gang.
Fireflakes, bao, cabbages, ocean kumquats. Possibly my favorite character of the series. Doesn't matter how long I haven't seen it. I still love this character, and I can quote him because he only says like one thing.
He says one thing, but he's like a recurring character that he works a lot. He's got a lot of work.
In fact, he's my favorite part of Korra because of the callback. My cabbages. There it is. All right, question 13. What is at Lake Laogai, just outside the Earth Kingdom capital of Ba Sing Se?
A friend of mine, Tammy Tamita, just hit me up. She said, dude, Patsy Takemoto Mink was the first woman of color elected to Congress, House, or Senate. She's also the first Asian American to run for president of the United States. And she's the reason why women can play sports in colleges and universities because of the Civil Rights Act, equal opportunity in education. And she's also from Hawaii. So shout out to Patsy Mink, and thank you, Tamlin Tamita, for watching the stream and giving us some information.
Learn
Brush
something
up on
there.
that Asian American history.
Learning a lot.
Secret Earth Kingdom brainwashing facility.
Do not remember that. Wait, there's two correct ones. Nothing at all. I'm honored to accept the Earth King's invitation. There's two correct answers on there.
How does that work?
I don't know. I didn't know they were.
What is going on here?
I don't know.
Is that having something to do with Judy? I don't know. I'm watching some of these episodes right now. Which of these inventions did Sokka and the mechanics not create together? What did they not create together? Hot air balloon, submarine, Aang's new staff, or a natural gas detector? I wonder.
They did a lot together.
Sokka's low-key genius. You know, we think about him. He doesn't have any bending skills, but my man is a genius. He's like the Einstein of the Avatar world.
I mean, he certainly doesn't come across that way either. But
no, he gets a lot of girls in that world too. He's got a lot of girls,
yeah,
and
he's a charmer.
He's a charmer. He makes up a lot of things here.
All right, what is it?
It is
Aang's
new staff. So he invented all those other things.
Wow, he can build a submarine, but he can't build Aang's new staff.
No, but he can build a submarine. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He thought it up. What a genius, that guy.
All right. Last Avatar question. In the stage play The Boy and the Iceberg, who voiced the Ember Island player who played a stiff and humorless Prince Zuko? Oh, is it Mark Hamill, who also played Fire Lord Ozai and Luke Skywalker? Derek Bosco, your brother? John DiMaggio? Or Brian Konietzko? I can never pronounce it.
Yeah,
did I get that right? The creator of Avatar.
Sounded pretty good. Brian Konietzko. Yeah.
Oh.
Shout out to Brian. Shout out to John. And shout out to Mark. All these guys.
Yeah,
and my brother, of course. And my brother, Derek.
Who was it?
My brother.
Derek. Oh,
yeah, he's awesome. Ember Players.
Oh, I had no idea.
I think it's like a little inside joke they had around Avatar.
Oh, that's great. Derek.
And here we're back in the leaderboard. Oh, Clowntown's still up there.
Wow.
Zuko's honor. One time for our Sophie, Tim Tams, Addie, Twee, Abby. We lost Jay-Z.
No, we lost Jay-Z.
But you guys are doing really good.
Man, Tim Tams with the greatest gains, 400 points that round. Man, it shows you how much they go up. All right.
Okay, so we're at round 4.
Democracy comes from two shorter Greek words, demos, meaning people, and kratos, meaning what? War, government, peace, rule.
Good question. Good question.
So it means people what? People war, people government, people peace, people rule. democracy.
I can make a argument for at least 2 of those.
Yeah, I was thinking 2 of those too as well.
What is it? Time's up. Rule. I was gonna go rule or government. Of course,
People rule.
government.
Who are the 20 people that thought it was people war? I'm curious.
Like that's demo war.
Okay, well, we are in a demo war, in a people war.
Question 17. Here we go. Which of these states offers same-day registration, meaning you can register to vote on election day? Wow. Okay. Virginia, California, Arizona, or Florida. Those are for like the procrastinators.
Yeah.
Which is the most procrastinating state in the union? Is that the question?
I mean, that's the question. And the answer will determine for all of us where we need to move to if we haven't registered already.
I have to go move real quick, get my vote in.
All right. I feel like it's, where is it?
I have no clue.
Virginia, maybe? Oh, it's California? Oh, I guess.
Oh my God. So
Yeah,
this is voter registration day, but you guys can register to vote up till November 3rd.
Well,
Just,
I know there's a lot of Californias here. Don't wait, because it's a good habit to get. You know, let's just vote as soon as you can.
Vote as soon as you can.
By mail if you have to.
Send in your ballots early, matter of fact.
All right, who's the first Asian American governor of one of the continental United States? Was it George Ariyoshi, Gary Locke, David Ige? I said that wrong. Or Bobby Jindal?
Also, another good question that I couldn't honestly tell you I know the answer to.
Neither could I. That's why we go to trivia nights, to learn. Clearly.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I want to go to trivia nights, is to learn factoids.
Never stop learning, Osric. Never stop learning.
I know. I'm not planning to. And the answer is Gary Locke.
Did we know even where that guy's from?
Which state? Just one of the continental United States, meaning not Hawaii.
Okay, here we go. Question 19. Go ahead, Oz.
The United States general election falls on what date this November? I'm pretty sure we've said it numerous times. November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or the 25th? Someone please vote 25th.
You guys.
I'm pretty sure Dante said that last question.
Yeah, no matter what, just vote as early as you can. Send your ballots in early. Send it on the 1st. Don't matter.
Yeah.
Definitely don't send it on the 25th. That's all I'm saying.
No. Oh, yeah. Vote by mail. Go in person if you can't vote by mail. Okay. All right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's like pretty good. Less than most people knew that.
Okay. And the 4 people that voted 25th also vote on the 3rd.
Yes, please. What was the first congressperson of Asian descent?
Oh.
Okay. Dalip Singh Son, Haram Fong, Daniel Inoue, or S.I. Hayakawa.
Who's Daniel? Or is it Hiram? Daniel. But this is Hiram's second appearance as an answer. So if I'm designing this trivia, maybe Hiram?
Hiram? I know Hiram came up before. But no.
Dalip
Singh Son. Okay.
Wow.
Shout out to the first congressperson of Asian descent.
Dalip Singh Son. Well.
I think we have the winner.
Who's the winner? Clowntown? Is it Clowntown?
I think Clowntown's the winner. Am I right? Can I?
Yeah, Clowntown.
1,400. Congratulations, Clowntown.
Wow. Good job. Corey Bishy will come in real close second there. 432-point round for Corey Bishy.
Clowntown, please email 2020project@unavsa.org. Clowntown, and with a screenshot to prove your honor, and we'll get in touch with you your prize after the event. Thank you guys. Thank everybody for participating. Thank you guys so much.
Shout out to Zuko's honor, 3rd place.
Always shout out to Zuko's honor. Oz, man, thank you for joining us on the stream.
Oh, absolutely my pleasure. It's nice to see you again in another room.
Nice somewhere to see you again, somewhere, another country, other places, but it's
yes, sir.
thanks for being a part of this. For being a part of helping us to inspire people to vote and to fill out the census. Thank you so much. I miss you, man.
I miss you too. All right, everyone, get out there. Let's vote. Let's do this country proud. Like we don't really have any other options. We gotta go out, vote ourselves, tell our friends, tell our families, especially, and hopefully we can bring more people out there. Half the country needs to vote.
Yes, we're shy. A lot of people. Come on,
we're shy half the country. So let's get to it.
All right, later. Thank you again, Audrey, the wonderful, amazing Audrey Chow. And now our next shout out video is from another dear friend, awesome actor from Shadowhunters. Here's a shout out video from Harry Shum Jr.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Harry Shum Jr., and I am here to encourage you to register to vote. If you've already registered to vote, then congratulations, high five, you are prepared and ready to go. And if you haven't, it's okay, you can still do it, and it takes only 5 minutes to do it. 2020 Project is a wonderful website that allows you to double check if you're registered to vote or to register to vote, and polling places nearby you and ways to mail in your ballot, and if your state allows it, which most do, so you want to double check that. And I also want to address the Asian American community. We have an amazing community, but we have had a very terrible low turnout, voting turnout in the past elections. So we want to change that, and we can. So this year is going to be very, very different. I encourage you to get your friends, get your families to vote. And if you have immigrant parents that English is their second or third language, there's ballots that come in their language. So there's really no excuse to get everyone involved. And I want you to also ask yourself, what has angered you in the past 4 years that you would like to see changed? This election is gonna determine what those things are. So I hope everyone participates. Go on the 2020 Project website and get registered to vote. Let's do this, baby.
Thank you, Harry. So you guys, we're coming to the end of our program. Sorry we ran over a little bit, but thank you to everyone for tuning in to ZUKO Tuesday, and a special thanks to our community partners and everyone here at the 2020 Project for producing this event and their mission to register AAPIs and get the community more civically engaged. This is really the most important election of our lifetime, and the outcome in November will lead to policies that could impact us for generations to come. So please vote, and vote early. And if you can, tell all your friends and family to do the same. And if you're voting on November 3rd, I want you guys to all remember, as long as you're in line by 8 p.m., you cannot be denied the right to vote. So remember that. And of course, wear a mask and be safe. Once again, please go to the 2020 Project website at www.vote-2020-project.org to check your status. Register to vote, pledge to vote, and find mail-in voting information. To keep up with the 2020 Project, its upcoming events, please follow us on our social media at Vote 2020 Project on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. I want to thank all the staff here that helped make this happen. I want to thank all the guests that came onto the show, and I want to thank all you guys for watching. Good night.